about, players trying to steal teammates, all of this stuff at Unrivaled, and, Lexie Hull supposedly is now a Chicago Sky. I don't know.
When Angel Reese became excited during an unparalleled media day, Lexie Hull, there were a ton of crazy speculations on social media. However, what's actually taking place between? Why are some admirers of these WNBA stars so angry over a little exchange? Let's split it down between teammates. Let's examine what is actually taking place. In this case, what began as a basic communication between co-workers, Lexie Hull and Angel Reese, at an unparalleled. Somehow, Media Day has evolved into a social media conflagration. But to comprehend, why are supporters responding so strongly? Need to dissect the entire narrative.
Obviously, because of this clip right here, people are now thinking she's going to be joining the Sky.
Go Lex! Okay.
Let's have a look first at the precise instant that ignited everything. This dispute amid unparalleled media day, Angel Reese was spotted offering assistance. This is for her teammate Lexie Hull. Totally typical behavior of a colleague. Players showing off by hyping each other up, fostering team cohesiveness and togetherness. But due to the intricate history between some admirers of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, take this straightforward exchange and turned it into an other kind of Indiana. Fans of Fever, especially those who firmly believe that Caitlin Clark saw this as a treachery they have inflicted. Interesting story in which Hull, who is renowned for, it is not appropriate to be friends with Clark, friendly with Reese in this manner. Thinking disregards the fundamental truth of professional athletes are able to participate aggressively on the court while preserving courteous, even cordial interactions. Away from it.
Like, as good as Lexie Hull is, you do realize that from her rookie season till the Olympics, her first 2.5 years, she was the worst volume three-point shooter in the entire WNBA. Then she just didn't miss for like a 10-game spell. But she was literally the worst volume shooter in the WNBA. She was getting DNPs. So yeah, give us a...
Additionally, there is the trade rumor that arose from this exchange. Some Chicago Sky supporters began speculating that Hull may be on his way to them just. Let's be, since Rhea offered her support. Facts about what Hull is subject to. Endure the illness for a further year. This isn't only conjecture. It's currently not feasible under contract.
However, Hull and Angel Reese are teammates on Unrivaled Rose BC. It's always going to be fascinating to see how Reese and Hull interacted, if only because of their relationship dynamics with Clark, but Unrivaled Media's Day shows there's certainly no bad blood between them.
The entire incident shows something. It's intriguing to see how certain fans see. The goal of women's basketball is to make these dramas in the vein of high school. Stories in which players must choose. Some sides cannot be friends with individuals, and each encounter implies anything more profound. It's not only unjust to the players, it totally overlooks the purpose of professional sports.
Chicago Sky superstar showed love to Indiana Fever teammate Lexie Hull, or player Lexie Hull. And one of WNBA's oldest and most iconic rivalries between the Sky and the Fever.
Let's discuss Lexie Hull's real growth as a participant in. She had trouble throughout her debut season. In fact, shooting ranks among the worst three-point shooters in terms of volume. WNBA, but following the Olympic vacation, something shifted, and Hull discovered her rhythm, enhanced her skills, and turned into a useful contributor to the rotation of the Fever. It's time to talk about improvement. Regarding the team's non-fabricated drama, Hull's commitments to his work remained. Prepared even if she wasn't receiving minutes, and merited her spot alongside court, the type of tale that merits consideration. The partnership is between Reese and Clark is another matter that has been exaggerated beyond recognition. Although there are rivals who have fierce contests on the court, there is also mutual respect between Clark and genuinely voice their opposition to the mistreatment. Reese has been notified online that these athletes are aware of the distinction between competitiveness between competitors and individual hostility and discussing real basketball is important. Therefore, let's talk about the trade rumors that have been circulating. Some supporters are recommending a trade involving Elizabeth Williams and Hull. And this type of armchair GM as a 10th selection work totally disregards team dynamics, effects of the salary cap, and the Fever's long-term strategies. The Fever is growing. They have something unique at the moment, a youthful core, including not only, in addition to Clark and Hull, Aaliyah Boston, and the shattering of other talented talents that would go for short-term gains, in opposition to what they have been doing. Toward the most annoying thing about this entire circumstance is how it diverts focus from the real. Hull has demonstrated notable. She has made improvements to her game. A better choice of shots enhanced her defensive stance and get more self-assured in her position. These are the characteristics of basketball fans talking on the fact that teammates. It shouldn't be news when people help one another. Conspiracy theories should not be sparked by it. Or fan indignation. This is what successful teams do. They develop mutual support and chemistry, other and cooperate despite previous contests or rivalries. Angel Reese is aware of this. She is aware of this as a professional athlete. An opponent from yesterday can be tomorrow's teammate, which explains why she has been purposeful in establishing connections with Hull and her new teammates. It's not about picking a side. Imaginary competition is about being a decent person, comrade, and assisting in creating a successful culture. Actually, if you examine WNBA clubs with a history of success, there are several instances of former. This is rivals turning into excellent colleagues. Anything that seasoned viewers and admirers of the sport recognize the objective is winning titles but failing to keep petty resentment or engaging in social media drama. The relationship between on media day, Reese and Hull were actually a favorable indication for the Fever. It displayed that their players are strengthening the team's bonds. As the chemistry develops, they're concentrated on what really counts: winning. Do you want me to play basketball? Proceed with the second section, which focuses on the media narratives, fan responses, and larger ramifications for the group. Let's analyze the ways in which this entire scenario has had an impact on the WNBA community and what it actually means to everyone engaged. The fan response provides valuable insights about the status of women's social media and basketball, how it can occasionally skew basic interactions. The reaction from Chicago Sky supporters has been especially intriguing. Some have took note of this exchange as a sign that they may be approaching Hull, constructing complex trading situations that the Sky doesn't make much sense practically, would have to make their 10th selection, and Elise Williams is a top backup centers for Hull in the WNBA, which is a high cost for a player who, however, improvement has only demonstrated steady production for around 15 games at that time. There is the response to a certain Fever. Fans, especially those with positions these admirers consider themselves to be Clark devotees, appear to consider any exchange between Reese and Hull as a betrayal of sorts. This kind of thinking disregards the fact that professional sports in which athletes must to cooperate in spite of previous friendships or clashes with the media. Coverage hasn't been helpful either. Outlets have taken advantage of this topic to try to manufacture drama in the absence of any. They took a regular teammate engagement and made it into clickbait, recommending everything from the changing room attention to possible deals of this nature. Coverage is detrimental to the athletes and the sport's history. Most people don't realize how this circumstance comments on the team-building activities of the Fever. They're building something unique, combining gifted musicians with various backgrounds and styles of play. In fact, Hull's progress is flawless, an illustration of their player development. She moved from being a struggling rookie to success, to become a valued contributor by working hard. Work and relationship coaching. The team's dynamics are more sophisticated and nuanced than some followers desire. 2. Consider the friendship between Hull and Clark. They get along and respect one another. However, that does not imply that Hull cannot maintain a positive rapport with Reese as well. Professional athletes know you can compete fiercely with someone on the court while keeping a friendly or even a cordial friendship off it. Angel. Reese's strategy for joining Unmatched demonstrates that she is a mature player, yet allowing rivals or the media to. Her interactions are dictated by storylines. Instead, she's concentrating on her colleagues, creating chemistry, and helping to. This is just what you need for team success. Want from a professional sportsperson. The trade rumors that have surfaced from this instance demonstrates how certain fans misinterpret the WNBA team construction. Fever isn't trying to end there. They are constructing around a youthful core. Players like as Hull and Clark Boston. These athletes enhance one another's abilities and are growing in chemistry. Seeing Hull's real play together, her trajectory of improvement is remarkable. After having trouble with her initial injection, her profession, she's grown into a dependable three-point shooter who defends, has consistently been reliable, but now she's enhancing her game's offensive consistency. This is the type of progress that adds value to a player's existing team, not trading for the coaching of the Fever. Employees should be commended for Hull's development. They remained on her side during her early hardships, gave her chances to get better, and now they're observing the outcomes of this patient method. Player development is something that many proposals are not appreciated by fans. Deals and Reese's backing of Hull demonstrates leadership traits that are frequently becoming underrepresented in the media narrative. She is more than simply a fierce person around her rival, but she's also encouraging, a partner who recognizes the significance. This type of action is indicative of team cohesiveness, need to be honored rather than transformed into dispute and the wider ramifications for. In fact, the Fever is rather positive. They're demonstrating their ability to integrate various personalities and performances styles into a unified whole. The fact that Reese and Hull can collaborate well in spite of their ties to the contest between Clark demonstrates professionalism, maturity. What has been especially, it's intriguing how certain WNBA veterans have provided input on this matter. Numerous people have noted that this type of teammate communication is entirely typical and that drama is being produced by fans. If none are found, these experienced players are aware that the league is tiny and the adversary of today could be the social media teammate for tomorrow. Response has also demonstrated how coverage of women's basketball frequently gets distracted instead by official court drama, then concentrating on the game itself. Hull's Reese's growth as a player, growth as a colleague, and the team-building activities for Fever are more captivating tales rather than fake. Debate in light of this situation's future might help with the Fever. It's demonstrated their athletes' ability to overcome media myths and collaborate. It is also convincingly illustrated Hull's contribution to the group as a player as well as someone with the ability to bridge many groups at the changing area. The speculations of a Chicago Sky trade have been especially tenacious, yet they disregard realistic constraints that Hull faces. Contract progressing nicely and completing an significant part in the Fever trading of her would need beginning a new relationship with someone. New chemistry that's being disrupted. Constructing from the standpoint of basketball, the Hulls match the Fever well, considering that she gives Clark's plays strong defense, drives, and recognizes her place on the squad system. These are important attributes that need not to be disturbed due to social media conjecture over the response to this. This also shows how certain fans undervalue the players on a squad who are able to collaborate well, irrespective of previous rivalry or extrinsic narratives are essential for the Fever. A victory in professional sports seem to be constructing this type of chemistry at the end of this whole thing might perhaps alleviate the Fever in the over time. It has been demonstrated that their players able to rise beyond media pressure. That type of fake drama is precisely what the mental fortitude required for success. The lesson here is in professional sports. It is obvious that we ought to concentrate more on what? More often on the court and less frequently on creating drama with a typical colleague. Interactions, the temperature is getting worse. Something encouraging, and they ought not to allow background noise to divert your attention from that. Objective, let's see how social. This story has been formed by the media when the Reese's supportive Hull video went. Twitter went viral with several camps, starting with the Clark. Loyalists sharing content such as Hull is. How could she betray her friend? Have a cordial relationship with Reese there were. The Sky enthusiasts are making intricate trades. Strategies that include a salary cap. Calculations, the veteran was finally there. WNBA supporters want to clarify how typical these exchanges are, examining the Hull's improvement in terms of real figures is outstanding. During her first season, she shot just 28% on 2.5 from three-point range. Attempts per match following the Olympic break. On 3.8, those figures increased to 38%. Efforts that are more than a little enhancement, it's a change in her. Additionally, the defensive rating went up from 4.2 to 98.7, demonstrating that she's not only a one-dimensional Chicago Sky player. Trade rumors aren't very reliable under examination of their purported offer of the 10th selection and Elizabeth Williams. Seems fine in theory, but let's take a break. First, Williams, as to why it doesn't function, is on a minimal protected veteran contract that refers to the salary matching. Would be difficult after the 10th. This year's draft selection isn't as worth as much as in other years because of the draft class depth. The Fever would basically be dealing in a predetermined amount, who is becoming better for unknown potential. In the WNBA, team dynamics are more intricate than most fans understand. For instance, in 2017, Minnesota connects famous athletes who were fierce competitors in college, yet united to win a championship. Or consider the Los Angeles Sparks were formerly rivals. Christy Tolliver and Candace Parker created one of the league's most important. These instances of successful duos demonstrate that professional athletes can opt out competition on the court from team connections that are covered by the media. Examining women's basketball is important here rather than concentrating on Hull's remarkable progress or Reese's. Many sources have maturity as a teammate, selected to heighten the drama there, not understanding the true nature of the sickness, creating a culture that is sustainable that potentially result in sustained success. So let's discuss how Hull contributed to the Fevers. She's more than simply a spot-up shooter, offensively, no longer in the games she's played recently. Second, the capacity to attack closeouts, making choices throughout play and defending several positions. These abilities make her very beneficial in conjunction with Clark, who attracts so much defensive attention. WNBA veterans' responses have been informing athletes like as Candace Parker and Sue Bird has made public statements on how drama on social media can have a detrimental effect. Team dynamics, they have highlighted the importance of professional basketball demands responsible connections between rivals as, according to Bird, you can't harbor resentment in a league this tiny, aiming at success. There is a trend with the players on WNBA clubs, putting aside previous conflicts for the team. The Seattle Storm's dynasty's success was expanded upon this idea by gamers who had fought bitterly against one another throughout college, joined together to produce one of the greatest successful teams in the league's history. The financial effects of these transactions. Rumors also need notice, and Hull remains bound by her rookie contract, which means she incredibly beneficial in terms of price vs output for a team-building exercise around up-and-coming celebrities like Boston and Clark. Having capable role models on reasonably priced contracts are essential there. The true story behind this is right here. If you saw this collapse, it would be a viral moment. Helpful press like, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to watch our next videos. Let's continue to promote women's rights till then. Basketball.